artificial general intelligence will be one of, if not the most dangerous creation in human history. That sentiment is almost universally accepted among anyone who actually knows what they're talking about when it comes to AI. The only variable that remains is just when or if we will arrive at the era of the thinking machine. There's always the possibility that achieving AGI is simply impossible, but the likelihood of that outcome is rapidly falling towards zero, and the timeline to our first contact with the digital mind seems to be shortening just as rapidly. How long do we have left in this current era of humanity? 10 years? 5 years? 1 year? There's been no greater demonstration for the potential of AI than ChatGPT. This relatively simple, narrow AI language has come screaming into our world like a flaming meteor and left an irreversible mark on our society. We all know what ChatGPT can do, but it's a lot less obvious just who made this thing and what they are trying to accomplish. I mean, the most revolutionary software in decades, and it's just totally free for anyone to use and profit from as much as they want without even having to look at an advertisement or sign up for a newsletter? There are always strings attached, and it's more important than ever to know where ChatGPT's strings lead. Okay, chat is pretty self-explanatory. This is a chatbot, which is nothing new. These things go as far back as Clippy, the paperclip from Microsoft Office, and have become so prevalent that virtually every major company in the world has an automated chat box on their website homepage. GPT is where most people's common knowledge falls off. So this stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Generative means that this is an AI that can create stuff. If you give it an input, the model will give you a relevant output. We've all seen the kind of stuff that AI can generate. The Pope in a puffy jacket, a podcast between Socrates and Steve Jobs, if Wes Anderson directed, insert movie name. Pre-trained is an important part of the equation. The AI doesn't know who Wes Anderson is or what his movies look like until you feed it with a reference library. ChatGPT was pre-trained with a vast amount of text pulled from all corners of the internet. Wikipedia, Reddit, Twitter, books, articles, scientific research papers, blog posts. It's a humongous dataset, but it is limited. And ChatGPT doesn't know anything outside of the information that it has been trained on. So if you ask ChatGPT to summarize the present-day relationship between Russia and Ukraine, it will say, quote, "As of my last knowledge update in September 2021, the relationship between Russia and Ukraine was characterized by tension and conflict." So the AI has no idea that there is an active war raging between the two nations because no one told it yet. Transformer is where things get very technical. This is not like Optimus Prime. This is the kind of deep learning model that was first introduced by Google Brain in 2017, and it's a particular technique for machine learning that is very well suited to natural language processing and computer vision. Transformers have a unique ability to learn context by identifying elements in the data that influence and depend on each other. So all of these text and image generators out there like ChatGPT, DALL-E, Midjourney are based on a transformer model. That's about all you really need to know. We'd be missing out on an opportunity here if we didn't go straight to the source and just ask ChatGPT itself the real reason that it was developed. So here's what it has to say. OpenAI developed ChatGPT, an advanced conversational AI model to push the boundaries of natural language understanding and human-like interaction. The development of ChatGPT stems from the broader objective of OpenAI to develop artificial general intelligence that can understand and perform any intellectual task that a human can do. So we know they have a goal beyond doing your homework for you, but what or who is pushing them towards this goal? The company behind all of this, OpenAI, was founded in late 2015 by a group of top-tier Silicon Valley investors and entrepreneurs, most notably among them being Elon Musk and Sam Altman. These tech industry elites each kicked in some money to infuse OpenAI with $1 billion of startup capital. The mission statement was to create a non-profit, open-source, fully transparent, and accountable research lab that was focused entirely on achieving artificial general intelligence as quickly as possible. But they were also going to do it as safely as possible and with the best interest of humanity at the forefront. It's like how Google was founded on the idea of don't be evil. OpenAI has a charter that they basically treat as holy scripture that says, we commit to use any influence we obtain over AGI's deployment to ensure it is used for the benefit of all and to avoid enabling uses of AI or AGI that harm humanity or unduly concentrate power. Our primary fiduciary duty is to humanity. We anticipate needing to marshal substantial resources to fulfill our mission, but will always diligently act to minimize conflicts of interest among our employees and stakeholders that could compromise broad benefit. Now, the trouble here is that AGI has always remained vague. No one can really describe what it might look like or the minimum requirement of what it should do. It's just like, we'll know it when we see it, but up until that point, it only exists in the abstract. There's a story that a lead researcher from Google went to visit OpenAI in 2016, and he told the founders that no one understood what exactly they were doing, and in response, the OpenAI leadership told him, quote, "Our goal right now is to do the best thing there is to do." So, that all sounds well and good, but you know what they say about best intentions. By 2018, Elon Musk was out, which came as a surprise because he had been the most vocal person about the dangers of AI and the need to ensure that it never falls into the wrong hands. Musk's personal philosophy seems to line up the closest with the OpenAI charter. It was almost like he had written the thing. Initially, Elon would cite conflict of interest as his reason for leaving, because Tesla had made the decision to pivot towards their own AI development in order to achieve fully self-driving vehicles, so he could easily be seen as poaching OpenAI research for his own benefit and financial gain, which makes sense, but there was something more going on here. In more recent times, Elon has come to be known as one of OpenAI's most prominent critics. He says that the company has abandoned the principles it was founded on, becoming a for-profit capitalist entity that has closed off its research and development to protect secrets and stifle competition. In many ways, Elon is right. In at least one way, it's kind of his fault. There are only a small handful of people who know for sure why Elon Musk left OpenAI. It's been said that 2 years into the project, Musk was already unhappy with the direction they were moving, and he wanted to maintain his particular vision by taking full control of the company, but he was rebuked by his co-founders. Money would quickly become a major issue for OpenAI. The original idea was that the exceedingly wealthy co-founders would continuously funnel money into the project and provide them enough capital that there would be no need for external funding. But the richest of the rich, Elon Musk, had just taken his ball and gone home. It's been reported that Elon had committed $1 billion of investment that was now off the table. The thing about developing AI is that it requires a massive computational resource. You need the most powerful computers in the world running full tilt in order to make progress, and then the larger your model gets, the more computing power you will need, and this has to scale exponentially. OpenAI looked around at others in the field and saw that they were doubling their computational resources every 3.5 months. So in order to stay relevant, OpenAI would need to secure enough capital to either match or exceed their competition. That required a new organizational model that could rapidly accumulate money. Could this be done while somehow also staying true to the mission? Not really. Microsoft would emerge as the savior of OpenAI. In 2018, they stepped in to fill the $1 billion void that Musk had left behind. But Microsoft had more to offer than just money. They actually had something even more valuable. So OpenAI took only half of the billion in cash, and for the remaining $500 million, Microsoft delivered Azure. On its release in 2020, Azure was ranked among the top 5 publicly disclosed supercomputers in the world. This was built in collaboration with OpenAI specifically to train large artificial intelligence models. While Azure would prove to be the exact leg up that OpenAI needed at the time, it would come with a pretty large price tag. The company would essentially sell their soul and abandon one of the core principles at their foundation. The Microsoft deal would trigger the end of OpenAI as a non-profit business model, and in the wake of Elon Musk's departure, OpenAI shuffled their leadership deck and installed co-founder Sam Altman as CEO under a new, profit-driven strategy. Altman arrived with a clear new message to his team. OpenAI needs to make money in order to do research, not the other way around.
We've spoken about the Foreo bear before back in February close to Valentine's Day, and since then my fiance won't stop raving about it, and now a few of her friends have one too. So if you're having trouble finding the perfect gift for your significant other, or if you've got a daughter who's into skincare, the Bear by Foreo Sweden might be what you need. Traditionally, getting a facial can cost hundreds of dollars for one treatment, so with only a few uses of the Bear, you'll already save a ton of money. What's cool about the Bear is that it uses microcurrent technology and T-sonic pulsations to tighten and firm the skin in just 2 minutes. It's smartly designed with an anti-shock system while being ergonomic, compact, lightweight, and it even connects to an app for an easy-to-use personalized treatment. So guys, if you're looking for a great gift that gives back, check out the Bear by Foreo. You can get 21% off Bear by clicking the link in the description. You'll be the hero for giving such a thoughtful gift, and they'll reap the benefits of this fantastic facial device.
If you don't already know who Sam Altman is, then you need to get familiar, because he is going to become one of the most influential people of this decade. Altman and Musk are actually very similar men. They don't like each other very much today, or at least Elon doesn't like Sam. It's complicated, but there was a time when the two were much more friendly. There's this video from 2016 where Sam interviews Elon and they have a really fascinating discussion. Much like Elon, Sam Altman is exceptionally intelligent, socially awkward, an unyielding workaholic, and a ruthless business leader. Altman figured out how to disassemble, reassemble, and program his Macintosh computer at the age of 8. He grew up as a gay kid in the American Midwest, which was not easy, but he learned quickly how to fight back against adversity. He studied computer science at Stanford for 2 years before dropping out to found a mobile phone app called Looped. You may not remember that one because this was 2005 and app stores didn't exist yet. But Altman eventually managed to convince every major mobile phone carrier in the US to pre-install his app on the devices that they sold. Over time, smartphones arrived and Looped became a popular app for iPhone and Android. It's said that Altman worked so incessantly during this time period that he got scurvy from malnutrition. Looped was a pretty simple idea. It allowed you to share your GPS location on a map so that your friends could see where you were and you could see them. It seemed cool at the time because it was new, but obviously fell out of fashion pretty fast. Altman was smart enough to sell his business for $43 million, and for his next move, he went to work for Y Combinator. Now, if you're not into the Silicon Valley tech startup world, then you've probably never heard of this thing. Y Combinator is often referred to as a startup accelerator. Basically, they select a small group of exceptional startup companies that they believe have potential to succeed. They fund these companies with enough capital so that they can cover expenses and continue to develop, and the whole time, they are receiving guidance and mentorship from the top business leaders in the industry. Then, at the end of this 3-month incubation period, the founders of these newly accelerated startups are placed in front of the wealthiest venture capital firms in the country and given the opportunity to pitch their business. Y Combinator became famous for picking the best startups and unlocking their potential. Airbnb, Instacart, DoorDash, Dropbox, Stripe, Reddit, Coinbase, these companies were all born at Y Combinator. All that to say, it's a pretty big deal. And in just a few years, Altman had risen up to become the president of the company, taking over from Y Combinator's founder, Paul Graham. It became his job to shape the next generation of world-changing tech companies. At one point, under Altman's leadership, Y Combinator introduced an AI bot to help them sift through admission applications. Altman was asked in an interview what qualifications the bot was looking for in these companies, and he replied, "I have no idea." That's the unsettling thing about neural networks. You have no idea what they're doing, and they can't tell you. In another parallel to Elon Musk, Sam Altman shares a deep existential dread. There's an account of Altman making small talk at a party in 2016 where he tells a group of people, "I prep for survival. I have guns, gold, potassium iodide, antibiotics, batteries, water, gas masks from the Israeli Defense Force, and a big patch of land in Big Sur I can fly to." If you listen to what Sam Altman has said in recent interviews and even testimony in front of US Congress, you get a sense that this guy is generally optimistic about the future of artificial intelligence. He acknowledges that AI will replace human jobs and change the labor market. But he also thinks that this could lead to the creation of better jobs in the future, where humans use AI tools to accomplish new things that we wouldn't even dream possible today. At the same time, Altman is not shy to admit that if his company and others in his industry don't get this right, if we arrive at AGI in the wrong way or with bad intentions, then it could very likely become an apocalypse-level event for the human race. And now we have this laser-focused, hyper-capitalist visionary and doomsday prepper at the head of arguably the most powerful and influential artificial intelligence company in the world. A company that is dedicated to just one goal: being the first to create a digital superintelligence that matches or exceeds the human mind. And if you listen to what they're saying, they don't expect this to take very long to achieve.